What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Gamescom 2022. Tomorrow is the day, and this is my predictions, hype, excitement video. I tend to do these for all of the major events, and I'm really pumped for Gamescom. Jeff Keighley has announced quite a bit of what's going to be there. You know, I think I've seen some stuff on Twitter where it's like, gaming fans, we want our expectations. Like, we want to make sure the expectations are right going into these events. And then also gaming fans, Jeff, why are you like announcing all that stuff? And it does feel like that. Like, I want surprises, but also I do think as a gaming nation, right, we don't want to be led astray just to be severely let down. But then when Jeff announced, like, no joke, probably 65 to 70% of the show, fans are saying, like, man, that's too much. And it's like, well, I mean, you can only have it one or the other way. So we know Hogwarts Legacy, we know Gotham Knights, we know Sonic, we know Callisto Protocol, we know now he teased the new Tales from the Borderlands game, which we assumed. We have the very high potential rumors of Ghostbusters being shown there and a release date being given. We have rumors of Cyberpunk 2077 getting DLC there. We have potential of Bioshock. Bioshock a few days ago, if you guys recall, I was saying could be kind of like a dark horse thing for a Gamescom announcement. That would be really cool to announce that, because we know there is a new Bioshock game happening. That would be really cool to announce it there. Dead Island 2, you imagine that's there. So we've really put together, and by the way, I'm leaving out, like, there's The Expanse, there's a lot of other Sonic Frontiers, there's a lot of games going to Gamescom that he's going to be showing. Obviously, he's talked about it before. This is a show where you expect to see things that are coming, you know, very soon. And then also games that are coming in 2023 and beyond. Now, again, the beyond part really gets me thinking Bioshock. It could get you thinking GTA. But hopefully, to me, this is going to solidify when we're going to get certain games, right? There's still kind of things left up in the air, like the Outlast Trials. That's actually going to be going. We don't have a release date. We gotta get one, right? Sonic Frontiers does not have a release date. You gotta imagine they get it. The Devil in Me, right? The next game in the Dark Pictures anthology. That game, Jeff hasn't actually said that's gonna be in the live stream, but they have confirmed that Supermassive Games has confirmed they're going. So it's like, well, I mean, it doesn't have a release date, so I assume a new trailer would pop up and they would give a date. So that's, you know, in terms of expectation setting, I know some people get very confused. You know, I talk very fast, I talk very loud. I don't want to make it seem like I'm just like, my excitement is like a 15 out of 10, and, you know, I'm going to be severely let down because I'm expecting this. I get excited for all these shows. I think they're a lot of fun. As I've always said for these shows, a general rule, specifically Jeff Keighley shows, there's going to be a lot of games that are not for everyone, right? There's probably going to be one or two games that are for you that are there, but there's also going to be many games that are not for you, but for other people. Now, granted, the list that I just went through, and I'm still leaving games out, is actually quite the inclusive list that I think a lot of people are into. Hogwarts Legacy is a game a lot of people are into. Gotham Knights, Callisto Protocol, that's a big horror game, right? The Outlast Trials, that's a big name just in general. If they do a Bioshock, if they do Elden Ring DLC, if they do the new From Software game, I mean, there's a lot of announcements that I do think are going to work for everything. Now, there is probably the inevitable, I think he did this for Summer Game Fest, like the 12-minute Call of Duty presentation that always happens, and it's just so I mean, but again, I was going to say, and I believe this myself, it's unnecessary. It doesn't, I don't get excited about it. I don't care about it, but Call of Duty does sell. You understand why that happens. Fortnite, Apex Legends, like, these are kind of games that I could care less, and I would honestly be upset if Jeff spends 10-15 minutes on these games like he's done with COD in the past. But again, not every game is going to be for me, and I do understand that. I do get what he's trying to do, but I really think, again, this is going to be kind of special. I've said it before, and I'll say it again for this, you know, preview kind of thing. Last year's Gamescom was one of, if not the best Jeff Keighley show he's ever done. Better than many of his Game Awards, which I think are pretty good, and better than the Summer Game Fest, which most times are very uneven, okay? I really thought last year's Gamescom was great, and judging based off the list of games that we know, and again, like Dead Island 2, you know it's going to be there. You just do, right? So it's like, based off all of that, we can expect, honestly, a pretty amazing show. And that's with room for him to do some surprise announcements that I'm assuming he's kept close to his chest. He is actually pretty good at hiding things. Mass Effect, you go back several years ago with Mass Effect, nobody really saw that coming. He picks a couple announcements and he doesn't tease them. He doesn't talk about them. Nobody talks about them, and then they happen. And I actually very much respect the guy for that because he's one of the few that can actually do it. He's given a lot away this time, but I still feel he probably has some stuff, close to his chest. So again, in terms of like oddball, like dark horse kind of predictions, the BioShock one, really, I've talked about going with my gut. Sometimes I feel something in my gut and I kind of reject it, and then I end up being right if I went with it. So I'm going to go with it. BioShock does kind of make sense. If you want a show-stopping announcement that hasn't been teased, hasn't been announced. Now, I know when BioShock did the 15-year anniversary yesterday, Jeff Keighley did leave a heart on their comment, but I don't really know if that means anything. I would assume it means nothing, okay? But it could mean something. And if you want something that's going to break the internet, BioShock is something that can break the internet. Again, like Cyberpunk DLC has been teased. You got to imagine that's probably there. I know I was saying like Elden Ring DLC. I think that kind of does make sense to do something like that, or at least something from software. Maybe I guess one of the three or all three of the big publishers, so Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft. I mean, again, Nintendo, I really like the idea of like a Breath of the Wild 2. Jeff doesn't do much Nintendo because Nintendo, I feel like, just doesn't give people, like including him, Nintendo probably just doesn't give him stuff to use. But I feel like Breath of the Wild makes sense. Of course, Splatoon 3 comes out in like 2 weeks, so maybe something like a launch trailer or something like that. But I do think maybe a Breath of the Wild would be, again, something big. For Xbox, I mean, I don't know if you do like Redfall or Starfield. Those ones obviously make the most sense, but maybe like an Everwild or Avowed. Those would be two more of like the shocking, or State of Decay 3. Those would be more of like the shocking ones. And then Sony, like actually kind of the same. God of War wouldn't be surprising, but it would be still big. Horizon Forbidden West DLC wouldn't be surprising, but it would be big. And then if you want to go for surprising, I guess The Last of Us multiplayer, but they said 2023, so, how much sense does that really make? Spider-Man 2, but you imagine Sony wants to do it. Sony's tough. I don't really know what they could do for Sony. Maybe Hideo Kojima's next game, like officially go for it. And if that's Sony or if it's Xbox or whatever, but maybe a Kojima game. Again, by the way, I know I'm listing like BioShock, GTA, Kojima game, God of War, Avowed. I'm not saying all of them. I'm saying like one of them, or like a handful of the group I'm saying. So again, for people that are going to spin my words here, I'm expecting a great show. Even if we just got the games that he announced, I think it would honestly be like a 8 out of 10, better than normal Jeff Keighley show. I really, in my heart, believe that. But if he does, extra announcements, again, I'm not expecting like 6 major things, maybe like 2. Okay? I'm just giving like a handful of things that I can come up with on the top of my head and see maybe if one of those is going to be right. So let me know what you guys think. Again, I'll be co-streaming it. Come back and watch. I'm going to set the notifications so you guys can set a reminder. I'll be live 1 hour before the show starts. Starts at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. So I will be live 1 hour before then, and we'll talk, and then we'll watch the show together, and then I'll do videos after, because what else am I going to do? Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on, and I'll see you all on the next video.